welcome. You're watching Ask Profit on NDTV Profit. I'm Smriti Chaudhary and with me is Mathew. And this show is all about your stock-related queries. So write to us any of your stock-related queries on the WhatsApp number that's flashing on your screen or on any of our social media outlets, and we'll take your questions from there. But before that, let's take a quick check of the markets. You have Nifty 50 trading 0.3% higher, holding well above 24,600 levels. Not a bad day for the benchmark. On the other hand, you have in the broader markets, you have mid-cap index doing better than the benchmark, up over 0.4%, and small-cap index up about 0.7%. Let's come back to the Nifty 50 and see what are the contributors to these gains today. And if you can pull that up on the screen, you have the likes of ICICI Bank, Bharti Hexacom and HUL positively contributing to the index. On the other hand, the heavyweights like RIL that are dragging in trade, along with Kotak Mahindra Bank, Ultratech and L&T. So that's pretty much what's happening. If we can pull up the breadth of the market as well and see, it should be in the favor of the, very firmly in the favor of the advances at this point, trading very in that ratio of 3:1 or thereabouts. Let's look at the sectors as well. You have realty doing very well in trade today, up about 2% in trade. Energy metals up over 0.5%, and just pharma and healthcare index, that's a drag right now. So that's the picture for the sectors. But today the focus is Bharti Hexacom. Now this, all right, so yeah, Bharti Hexacom. Now this is a recent listing, Alex, and it's part of the Bharti Group. It's actually a subsidiary of Bharti Group, where Bharti holds about 70% of the stake, and 30% of the stake was held by the government. There's a slight divestment when the IPO happened, and now it's close to, I think, 20% or thereabouts.
I think it's also important to mark what is on the bottom of the screen, Smriti, and this is not in the listed space, but it's still a significant development, to say the very least. It is the fact that Byju's has been admitted to the NCLT for insolvency, and this is in the case pertaining to dues to the BCCI. And this had to do, of course, with the title sponsorship and certain dues that Byju had in that case. And you will remember, of course, that Byju's has been facing quite a bit of trouble over the past several months with regard to payments and also with regard to its financials. It has delayed the announcement of its financial results multiple times, and it has also seen a very drastic drop in its valuation from being one of the most highly valued companies, startups in the world. It has seen its valuation slashed quite significantly over that period. And we'll come back to this story in just a bit when we have Charu coming through. But we have Asta Jain as well as Swati Hotkar joining in to tell you about the stocks that we are going to be discussing in trade today. I do want to talk about this latest development on Bharti Hexacom. And Asta, I want to ask you about this because they're talking about a target of 1280, which implies a considerable upside. And they're talking about the under-penetrated areas that it currently operates in, places like Rajasthan as well as the Northeast. They see stronger tailwinds from subscriber growth as well as organic average revenue per user expansion. Have you studied this counter? And if so, what is the call that you have on it?
Hi, good afternoon to all of you. So talking about this counter, yes, I have studied this counter because the IPO came way back in April. So we know that at that time, the IPO price was 570 at the higher end of the price band. So afterwards, we have seen a sharp or a significant rise in the price of the stock, and now we are seeing it is standing at around 1125. Now talking about this counter, yes, they have a leadership position in Rajasthan and Northeast circle, and these are highly under penetrated markets. So now they have the leadership position there, so that will be definitely helping the company in getting a strong revenue from these circles. Secondly, talking about their brand, their parentage, so it is also very, very strong. So they have this support of this strong parentage. that is working in the favor of the company, and that's why we are positive on this counter. Industry tailwinds are also looking promising at this point of a juncture. So in case of IPO also, we had a subscribe rating with a listing gain as well as long-term subscribe recommendation. So now we are sticking to those recommendations, and again we are recommending holding on this counter, and our price target has been set at around 1300 rupees.
All right, fair point. Let's dive into the queries. Now, the first one is on Bharat Electronics. The question is from Geeta. Swati, I'll come to you on Bharat Electronics. We've seen a massive rally in this counter in the last 1 year. The question is, if you're invested in this counter, should you continue holding on to it? And if there are any buying levels that you would suggest in the counter as well?
You have rightly pointed out that we have seen a very good rally in this year itself. Almost the stock was up by almost 79 to 80%. From the last few weeks or say the months, we are continuously witnessing an uptick rally from almost 100 to 340 levels non-stop. So those who are having any long positions, they can definitely hold on, because I believe that this rally is likely to be extended towards at least 400 to 450 levels on the higher sides. But for the fresh long positions, one should wait. The current level is not the risk reward ratio. And as of on technical front, we are witnessing that the stock is on the verge of forming the negative divergence, and it's already trading in the overbought zone. So if you're getting any dips towards to 280 or 250 level within that range, one can go for the long positions. But those who are having already the long, they can definitely hold on. And if you're looking for any stop losses, I will suggest to hold on your long position as long as this particular counters holds 280 levels on the downside.
Okay, I was just pulling up the calculator to very quickly look at the gains. It's fairly obvious, but I'm going to pull that up anyway. Trident is the counter that we're looking at next, and we've got Mohit from Ludhiana that has bought at levels of 3.9 rupees per share, and so that 7,000 rupee odd or thereabouts acquisition that he has made, or more than that, is currently worth 76,000. So more than that, significantly more than that, right? The question is to you on the charts, Swati. He can hold for the next 2 years or so. Should he take money off the table at this stage?
Alex, he has really invested the amount at the right levels as such, and we have seen a very good rally from 2020 onwards towards the levels of 67, 68 levels. After that, we have seen a retracement, but the stocks manages to form a very crucial support level nearby 31 to 30 levels. And again, we are seeing a uptick rally. So as of now, currently, the base has formed nearby 31-30 levels. So up to that level, he can definitely hold the long positions. I believe hotel industries are doing very well, and probably we are going to witness more uptick rally in this particular counter back towards 250 to 55 levels on the higher side. So for the longer horizon, definitely you can hold on. If possible, maintain the strict stop loss of 31 rupees. For immediate target will be a 50 and 55 levels can be seen.
All right. Next counter is a very recent listing, which is Emcure Pharma. We saw a strong debut of Emcure Pharma Asta. If you've had a chance to look at this, it was massively oversubscribed by, I think, 68 times. What would you suggest? Would you suggest buying the counter from a longer term perspective?
Not at the present point of the time, because the stock has seen a sharp rise, because the issue price was only 1,008 at the higher end of the price band, and afterwards it has risen to 1,377, which it is quoting right now. So although we have given a subscribe rating to this IPO, both from the listing gain as well as long-term purpose, but here my point is, hold on the stock in case if you have got the allotment for the price target of 1,500. But for making a fresh entry, I think right now wait for some dips, because it's already putting it, a stock rise almost by 30-40% after the issue came. So it will be like on a very high price if someone enters into the stock. Now talking about this counter, Emcure Pharma is looking good to us because their major focus area is the gynecology, because major revenues are coming from that segment. Apart from that, they have a strong overseas presence. And now going forward, because from the issue proceeds, the company planned to reduce the expenditure. So definitely that interest cost will be directly adding to the bottom line and will be helping the company company in showing strong financial performance. So we are expecting this company to show strong financial performance in FY25 while maintaining their EBITDA margin in the range of 20 to 22%. But at the current juncture, we believe the stock is overpriced, hence make a fresh entry at the point of 1300 odd levels, but not at 1380. This is our first point. And secondly, our price target is 1530 for this counter in the medium term.
Okay, 1534, the next 1 year, is it?
Yeah, medium term, 6 months
6
to
months.
8 months.
Okay, 6 months to 8 months. All right. Geo Financial Services, and for this I'm coming back to you, Asa, and this is a question from Subramanyam. He has bought at levels of 250. The stock is currently trading above that mark at 350 or thereabouts, and what a tear the stock has been on in 2024. The question is for the long term though, and so therefore we have to talk about the fundamentals, which really becomes a little hard to do because apart from the prospects of this particular company, we've not really seen anything on the ground. So how do you judge it, and would you continue to hold?
Yes, we are giving a whole recommendation, first of all, to this counter with an initial price target of around 360 to 65. So we are not giving a high price targets. It is merely limited to 365 odd levels. Now, talking about this counter, what we have seen in the financial performance in the Q4 of FY24 was a mixed performance. In case of their operating income, it remained robust. But overall, if we talk about the profitability and the other line of items in the P&L statement, the results were mixed. Now, why this is higher operating income? Because of the higher investment income. So whatever profit they are driving, that is on the back of the higher investment income. And that is why we are not much very positive on this counter. We want to see some sort of improvement from the operations front in the financials coming in the coming quarter. So we are believing that those who have this counter, they can just remain hold, but we are not giving a fresh entry recommendation on this counter. And our price target is just limited to 360 to 365 at the current juncture.
All right. Next counter is Suprajit Engineering. The question is from Mamta. Swati, I'm looking at this counter. It's year to date given 26% gains, but seems to be in a weaker trajectory in the last couple of weeks. What would you suggest doing with this counter? Should you continue holding on to it from a short to medium term perspective?
See, the stock has already given a rally since the May from 400 to 550 levels, and currently the stock is trading in the overbought zone, nearby the overbought zone. So I'm looking for a correction might be witnessed in few coming trading sessions. As of now, the downside, it has a very crucial cluster supports nearby 500 levels. So as long as it holds that level, we can expect some pullback rally. But if not, then we are likely to witness some correction or say the profit booking, which might take a counter back towards to 450 to 400 levels. So I will suggest to try to book your profits on every rise, or else you can maintain the strict stop loss of 500 and carry your long positions. Positive momentum can be seen only if the stocks manages to give the breakout of 540 levels. If it surpasses that level, then definitely this rally is likely to be extended towards to 580 to 600 levels.
Okay, CDSL, Central Depository Services, another of the stocks from the pack that has benefited from the adoption of financial investments from the stock market and the lure of the stock market. It's up as much as 31% in the year to date. And the question is coming in from Shreyas for the short-term prospects of this counter. Swati, on the charts, is it something that you would suggest as a fresh buy?
See, Alex, fresh buy will not be recommended in this particular stocks. Why? Because on a weekly and the monthly chart, the stock shows little bit a sign of the negative divergence, which shows that the strength is day by day it's coming down. No wonder that we have seen a very good price momentum, but on a longer horizon, I'm looking for some profit booking session in this particular stock. Fresh longs can be added if the stocks witnesses some correction towards 2000 levels. Up to that level, one can go for long positions because at that particular levels, the risk-reward ratio will be a favorable. But those who are having any long positions, they can hold on. We are looking for a target of 2500 in the probably 6 to 7 months. But as of now, the view is a little bit cautious. Hold for the long positions, but fresh longs can be created only any dips towards 2000 levels.
All right. It's time to slip into a short break, but on the other side, we'll take more questions. So stay tuned.
Welcome back. You're watching Ask Profit, and we are in the midst of taking all of your queries, and I'm going to request that number to be shared on your screen. If you've got questions for us, you can send it to us there. The next question we're taking is from Naman Deora. He's writing in from Kolkata, and he's asking about Patel Engineering for a period of 6 months. Should it be bought at this juncture? Asta, on the fundamentals, would you suggest a fresh buy?
Yes, one can go for Patel Engineering from the 6 months perspective, although the price target has been kept at around 80 to 85 rupees. Now, if we talk about this counter, why we are positive, first of all, the results were fantastic. Now, and secondly, their order book has started kicking in, and the revenue growth is likely to boost from the order book which they have got. I think the order book stands somewhere at around 18,600 crores odd level. This is what, if I am remembering them right. So it is around 18,000 crore of order book they have in the FY24, which implies around 4.2 time of, book to bill. That means their FY24 revenues, it is twice of FY24 revenue. So strong order book they are having, and we are expecting the strong growth in the financials going ahead. Recommending a buy as well as hold. Price target can be set at around 80 to 85 rupees.
All right. The next counter is BLS E-Services. Asta, if you have coverage on this counter, we have a question from Lakshmi, who bought the counter at a price of 304 rupees, so elevated levels. She wants to know the target on this counter. Now, it seems to be giving negative returns. This whole year is down about 35%.
Right, because it has also came in the IPO, I suppose, and the IPO price was around 135 rupees. So at the upper end of the price band. And at that point of a time, the issue was valued at somewhere at around 16 price to earning multiple. So it was not very much expensive at the IPO price. And as we all know, it is a subsidiary of the BLS International Services. They are mainly looking after their digital services department, or their digital service provider. But financials were not very strong, and we were expecting the financials to improve going forward, which we really need to see how it will perform. So I think one can hold the counter, but no fresh entry is recommended. Although price target can be set at around 250 to 255 levels.
Okay. Interesting question coming in from Chandrasekhar. He's writing in from Hyderabad, talking about Tata Motors, which he's got at levels of 322. What an acquisition price that is. And quite a few people are going to be jealous of you, Chandrasekhar. The question is, should he buy more? Asta, he's contemplating buying more at this point, and he's wondering whether that's a good idea.
Yes, one can go for add-on this counter, because Tata Motors is looking strong to us. First of all, being in the automobile space, there is a strong industry tailwind. Secondly, the deleveraging exercises which the company had initiated, it is really reaping the benefits to the company, and the balance sheet deleverage is always liked by the investors on the street. So that is another point. And their subsidiary, that is Jaguar Land Rovers, is really working well for the company. So these all are factoring towards the strong momentum going ahead also, and we are positive on this counter, recommending a hold as well as a buy with a price target of 1,080 to 1,100.
All right. The next counter is ITD Cementation. The question is from Dhansuklal Bharucha, who's writing in from Gujarat. The question is, they've been holding the counter for 20 years, Astha. So I'm assuming from a very, very low point. Now the question is that there's some news flow around promoters divesting stake in the company. Do you think that's something that one should watch out for, and should you suggest holding on to the counter?
Yes, because it is a leading engineering and construction company, ITD Cementation. So we are recommending a hold on this counter, and they have a diversified portfolio across all the segments, and they have established themselves as a leading name in the construction space. So we are positive on this counter because there are 2-3 factors. First of all, the increased trust of the government on the infrastructure space is really working positively for all these construction counters. They are getting strong demand. Their order book is surging. So it is one of the leading company in that space. That's why we are positive on this counter, recommending a buy as well as a hold. Initial price target is 555 to 560.
All right, 555 to 560. Not a tremendous upside, but an upside nonetheless. South Indian Bank is the counter that we're looking at next. And from the short-term perspective, Liz has got this question. And Swati, on the charts, how does it look? It's currently trading at 26.7 at about 0.6% higher. Not done too much this year.
Yes, Alex, you have rightly pointed out this from the last few months. We are not witnessing any major momentum in this particular counter, but yes, profit bookings we have witnessed. Now, on a downside, it has a very cluster supports nearby 24 to 25 levels. From there onwards, we are likely to witness a uptick rally or say the pullback rally back towards to 30 or 35 levels. So those are having any long positions, definitely hold on. This stock will move upward slowly and steadily. Overall, the outlook on the monthly chart is really positive. For the short-term period as such, one can definitely hold on by maintaining a strict stop loss of 25 rupees on a downsides for immediate target of 30 to 35.
All right. Next counter is Thermax. Coming to you, Swati, on this one. We have a question from Venki, who bought the shares at a price of 5,249 rupees. Slightly elevated levels, but not too far from where it's currently trading at. Should you suggest holding on to this counter?
See, currently the stock is trading at the buying price itself. I will suggest to take a chance and hold the long positions. Probably we are likely to witness some positive momentum if the stock manages to give the breakout of 50 to 80 levels, which is the resistance provided by its 20 days moving average. If in this pullback rally, if it's break that level, definitely we are likely to witness 55 levels on the higher side. But the longer term horizon, definitely my view is a little bit cautious in this particular counter because weekly chart has already given a negative divergence signals. So we might witness some sort of a profit bookings. So if possible, try to keep your long positions, but maintain the strict stop loss of 5110 levels on the downside and hold your long positions for immediate target of 5500 levels.
All right. The next question is on Gujarat State Fertilizer, GSFC, which Farman has bought at levels of 251. He's wondering whether to hold on. I'm assuming that this is a fundamental question. And so coming to you on this one, Astha, what's the view?
GSFC is a hold recommendation from our side because we are positive on the fertilizer stocks as a whole. I mean, the financial performance was also very decent. So yes, one can remain invested in the counter, although one can closely watch the results also if anyone want to stay safe in the counter. Otherwise, a hold strategy can be adopted. Initial price target can be set at around 275 to 280.
All right. Next counter is Chemcon Specialty Chemicals. Astha, I hope you have a coverage on this one. The question is from Pranay, who's writing in from Coimbatore. They say they bought the counter during the IPO, which was, I guess, 4 years ago. And it's given nothing but a negative return. It's down 54% since then. What do you suggest? Should you maybe get out of the counter at this point?
I remember at the time of the IPO price also the issue was not very reasonably priced. But since then we have not seen a major fireworks in the counter because I think the financial performance was muted. So we recommend it's better to exit from this counter and take an entry in the other chemical stock. Although PI Industries at the current point of time is looking strong to us. So we are recommending buy on the PI industry also. Initial price target can be set at around 4,000 to 4,100.
Okay. I think we had an earlier viewer that also wanted to know about IREDA. Krishendu, Krish wants to know about this particular counter. He's bought at levels of 297 and he's wondering whether to hold for the long term. He's bought at elevated levels and that's saying something because the stock is up as much as 170% in the year to date so far. Asa, on the fundamentals, would you hold on?
Yes, we recommend hold on this counter because it has one important differentiator among other NBFC, and that is it is into green and financing. So that is the major unique point for this company. And their updates which were coming a few days back also were very strong. So they have shown a strong rise in the loan disbursement as well as loan sanctions. So positive on this counter, recommending a hold with a price target of maybe at the cost price of 297 to 300 at the initial levels.
All right, the next counter is RVNL. Swati, we have a question from Sushila, who bought the counter at a price of 156 rupees. So considerable profit there for Sushila. Would you suggest maybe booking some profits or stay invested in the counter?
So looking towards the technical setups, definitely I will suggest to hold on this particular stock. This year, the stock has given almost more than 120% returns and the buying price is at very lower level. So definitely ma'am can take in risk to keep on hold. upside. I'm looking for a target of at least 800 rupees on the higher side, probably in the coming of 6 to 8 months. If the particular person wants to keep the profit stop losses, the ma'am can hold the long positions by maintaining a strict stop loss of 500 rupees provided by its 20 DMA. On every time we have seen that the stock manages to take a support of 20 DMA and again it's bounce backing to make a new high. So I will suggest to hold on. Keep a stop loss of 500 rupees. Your profit stop loss will be a 500 rupees and for a target of 800 to 900 in probably within a year and so.
Okay. All right. That's the view on RVNL. That brings us to the end of this particular edition of Ask Profit. Asta as well as Swati, thanks so much for taking the time and for answering all the questions that you did answer today. Well, I hope that this conversation and these answers have benefited you in some way, even if your specific question was not answered on the program today. From Smriti and myself and the team that put the show together, thank you so much for watching. Do stay tuned. This is NDTV Profit.
Hello and welcome back to NDTV Profit. You're watching Hot Money and this is Mhika Barve. Let's just take a quick look at how markets are faring currently. Well, we have the Nifty 50 up about 0.2%. Mind you, the benchmark did open at life high today and is currently trading just, 20 points below the day's high. When you talk about the Nifty 50 contributors, if we could get the top contributors, we have ICICI Bank as well as Bharti Hexacom that are contributing most to the benchmark's gains, while we have counters like Ultratech, Cement that are dragging the benchmark down. When you talk about in with respect to the stock performance of the companies on the benchmark, we have Coal India, which is the top Nifty 50 gainer on today's day of trade, as well as BPCL and HUL that are up over 2.7% in trade right now. The ones that are not doing so well, we have Dr. Reddy's, which is down 1.6%. We also have Kotak Mahindra Bank and Shriram Finance that are down over 1% in today's day of trade. But when you look at the broader markets, we have the Nifty Small Cap 250, which is the clear outperformer in today's day of trade. When you look at the companies that are leading the gains up first, we have Chennai Petroleum, which is up 11.5% currently, as well as companies like Tata Teleservices and Suntech Realty that are up over 6.5% in today's trade. But we have some new updates coming in. Now, Byju's has been admitted to insolvency after an order passed by the NCLT Bengaluru. Now, Charu joins us with the details. Charu, take it away.
So what has happened here is that the National Company Law Tribunal bench of Bangalore has admitted an application under Section 9 of the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code that was filed by BCCI against the EdTech company. What this means is that now the insolvency proceedings against the